All right, welcome back. Scissortail Podcast, episode 18 now. We're legal. And we're growing, actually. We're live at Minelli's again. This is our third time, and there's actually a total of 6 people here right now.
Nice little crowd. Like I said last time, you got to watch out for those podcast groupies.
That's right. The podcast groupies are growing.
Yeah, groupies.
Yeah, clinky.
Cheers.
So, if you're not here and you're listening to this, you need to come out to McNelly's next time. It's going to be pretty much Sundays, 5 to 6-ish, Central Standard Time. So definitely want to, as usual, give a big thanks to McNelly's for having us out, being our host sponsor. A couple things we want to mention. Pint night for tomorrow night, since it's a Sunday, on Monday, what is tomorrow, June 6th. Pint night is for the Abita Big Easy. So come out, have an Abita Big Easy, take home the pint glass with you. This week, the Beer Geek special is the Einger Weizenbach, 16.9 ounce for $6. So come out, have one of those. And then a couple other cool events coming up that I did want to mention for McNelly's. Since they are taking care of us here, having us out, hosting us. Coop Hop School is going to be here on Tuesday, June 14th. So you can come out, sample 5 beers, including one specially hopped for the school, discuss hops, how they were used with the master brewer from Coop. Sign up is open right now. It's $12 per person. The event starts at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June 14th. So get signed up for that if that's something you're interested in. You can email jenny.price@mcnellys.com to reserve your spot. Also, there is going to be an Anthem Brewing beer dinner on Tuesday, June 21st at 7 p.m. That is $45 a person, and you'll come out, have a nice 4-course meal paired with 4 Anthem Brewing beers. Again, email jenny.price@mcnellys.com if that's something you're interested in. So, got that out of the way.
Let's get started.
Corrections, signings, releases. I have no corrections and no releases to note. But there was one signing this week.
Yeah, we've got a new midfielder named Adrian Abel. He's a rookie winger from DePaul University in the Chicago area. Made it to the game day lineup, both games this week, after coming in basically on a Monday. Didn't have a chance to crack into the field, but it looks like he brings us some good depth to the position, and just from watching him warm up, seems very athletic, very fast, very good on the ball. So I think we'll see him play starting in the fall season, if not this week.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him get some burn this week. Third rookie we've added to the roster, and I think Adrian was signed actually the first day that it was possible for him to sign according to NCAA regulations. So
cool.
I don't know if that's somebody that Allen's had his eye on for a while, but he wasted no time getting him signed. So results, 2-match week. The first one, U.S. Open Cup, lost 2-1 against the
pretty tough loss.
Hated rivals, Oklahoma City Energy FC. I've got my Crow Burger sitting in front of me right now, Will. I see that you're eating a normal hamburger because
I guess I had the good misfortune of predicting the score.
You correctly predicted a 2-1 Energy win, which made for quite an awkward press box whenever they went up 2-1, and everyone kind of looked at you like...
Only everyone else but me made it awkward. I was just sitting there watching the game.
Yeah, you were just like, sorry for being right.
The sports narrative totally changed because last night, Rayo got their first home game, home victory against hated rival Minnesota United
Truly
FC.
Hated rival, the Minnesota United Loons.
Yeah, F those guys.
Okay, so real quick, let's go back to the U.S. Open Cup game just for a second. What'd you like, what you didn't like about the game?
I like the atmosphere. I like that the supporters group was in full throat. I like that Rayo created a lot of chances and was attacking. But that's probably as much as I would say.
I liked the first half. I didn't like the second half or extra time. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Hey, remember that time that the Grid made a big stink about buying tickets together and then they all sat together anyways?
I do remember that.
Yeah. Manufactured controversies.
Hey, do you remember when apparently everyone in the Rayo supporters group was throwing chainsaws and
batteries and drumsticks?
Should we talk about that?
Entire grandstands were flipped over on top of poor unsuspecting visiting players. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We can talk about missile defense systems. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that game a whole lot because I'd like to talk about the win. What did you like? What didn't you like about last night's home victory?
There was a lot to like. It may not have been the prettiest performance based on the stats, but if you look kind of next level, the team played together for, I think, the first time cohesively, so getting forward, getting back together. They played freaking hard. It was a tough win, and I guess the word that we heard a lot after the energy game was being clinical. Finally put a chance away, right? So they created a lot of chances, got a few that were just off frame, but finally got one in the back of the net, so it was enough to get the win. So I was very impressed. Yourself?
Yeah, I liked winning.
It really does change the whole narrative. Like it feels really nice.
Yeah, to get a home win before the spring season is concluded, it's huge. And I mean, we've never felt what it feels like to leave that stadium with a victory. So
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a great time. Things I didn't like, I don't really have anything to note. I guess
they were still a little sloppy in the back. They almost gave up the equalizer late, which would have been a major letdown. But I guess what I didn't like was a criticism that I saw that they parked the bus. And we'll take a look at the stats, but I don't think that's a fair criticism at all.
I don't think they consciously parked the bus. I think the stats show that Minnesota was the leader in every stat, in possession and passes and everything. So it's not like, and that was from minute one, from kickoff. So
actually, can I interject?
Yeah.
I've thought of something better. Something that I liked was after the game, you could tell like there was an exhale, right? The players were in good spirits, the fans were happy, the supporters group was dancing. You could tell it was a weight off of their shoulders. But in the post-game press conference, guess who was still fired up and angry and wanting more was Marcina. So I did like that the pressure was off everyone's back, and there may have been a breakthrough as far as what the team can achieve, but that the person most responsible for motivating them to stay focused was still pretty fired up. So I did like to see that. And we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that, one thing I didn't like, I guess you could say, is I did like that this happened with such a thin roster, but I also didn't like it, if that makes sense. Because
how do you integrate the pieces moving
Because
back
now it brings up the question, you've got 5 of your best players who weren't even featured, and you managed to play together, play cohesively, and get a win. I mean, we asked Coach that, and he had an answer, and maybe we should listen to that now.
So we will take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk through what we saw on the field in the energy game, and we'll have some post-game audio for you, and we'll do the exact same thing for Minnesota. So
I'm going to take a couple of bites of my Crow Burger.
Yeah, stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back in. Episode 18, Scissortail Podcast, and you know what that sound means, right, Will?
It's a beautiful arpeggio. It can only mean one thing.
It means it's time for Tech Talk.
Correct. Tech Talk Part 1.
Tech Talk Part 1, yeah. Because we're going to do, as you previously said, we will talk about the US Open Cup game, play the audio.
I pre-capped the recap.
Will we then play a different synth melody and then do another Tech Talk?
Unclear.
Okay.
Unclear. So let's talk it out. So
saw 4-4-2 for the first time ever.
That's right. So I thought it was pretty effective. I guess generally, just to talk about a high level, I mean, my reaction to the Open Cup match was pretty even game, pretty open game, pretty attacking, a lot of kind of punches, counter punches being thrown. I agree with what you'll hear Alan Marcina say, that the better team did not win. But what I do think is that the more experienced team that was able to play together did win.
The more cohesive
team won. Interesting couple tidbits, right, from at least the perspective of Rayo, is that Samaras played the full 120. Anyway, so look, it was good counterattacking football for both teams. We were putting them under pressure early, and it was all Rayo in the first half. Forbes was dominant on the left-hand side. He had plenty of space. I liked Ian Svantessen using his size to be a hold-up man. The first half, I guess I'd say it was all Rayo, but if you go and look at the stats, it was 53-46 on possession. Rayo had like 20 more passes, but Rayo had 17 crosses to the Energy's 5. So what it looks like was happening was that we would turn the ball over sloppily occasionally, and that kind of led to break opportunities for the Energy. And they got a goal right after we went up 1-0, let your guard down. and they let the equalizer in. A couple of quick things, and this is more kind of bleeding out in the second half, is that it seemed like all of the energy's chances came on the break after a Samaras turnover. So he had a poor touch or a bad pass. And to be fair, it was all energy. First 20 minutes of the second half was all energy, and a lot of this is contributing. It's like Samaras was kind of the point person and didn't play a great game, led to a lot of breaks. And then also, like, we would have a lot of goal kicks, and something that you've talked about before is why are we playing the ball short? Well, we started playing the ball long, so now we have Sven Tessen as a target man. Well, we've got everyone forward, right, because it's 1-1 and 1 attack, and off the long goal kicks, the energy would win the ball, and then would be really set up pretty well for an attacking move. So I did, a wrinkle that needs to get worked out. We switched late in the second half to a 4-2-3-1, and it was seeing Samaras drop down to kind of the 10 role. Finley came on the 60th minute from Mindravar, and I really, really liked what I saw from Rayo once we were in the 4-2-3-1. So very good attacking play. Samaras, I thought, started playing pretty well. I think we got a little bit unlucky in the 81st minute. There was what seemed to have been a pretty clear handball that didn't get called. Would have been a penalty, would have radically changed the game.
And your question later on about Kosuke's run that he went on, solo run,
I'm going to back off.
Shouldered off the ball.
I'm going to back off of that a little bit, but I did think that in extra time, Kimura did get fouled. But here's what it came down to, right? We came to extra time, and the question that we were asking ourselves was, experience versus youth, and cohesiveness versus incohesiveness. And as you might expect, like, if you really are looking at it objectively, what in extra time or penalties, who do you favor? It's the team that's cohesive, right? And, credit to the energy for getting a great header off a cross in and putting it on frame and getting the ball in the back of the net. So,
I think a couple other things to go with that is obviously, not obviously, but to me it looked like Rayo was playing for penalties.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that they played on Saturday on the road against New York. That's a long road trip, and the Energy didn't have a game last Saturday, so they were coming off of 10 days of rest or whatever it was. So they had better legs than Rayo. They're younger on average than Rayo. So.
Well, I think. Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, we'll hear this. Jimmy Nielsen. He said the first start of the game, it's like their team was wowed. Like, oh my gosh, I'm playing against these players that, played in World Cup and are really good and blah, blah, blah. And then Rayo basically shot themselves in the foot and let the energy back in the game. And once the mentality changed and the energy saw that they could play with Rayo, the game totally changed.
Yep.
So, what do you make of the fights breaking out at the end of the game?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, we've seen it in almost every game so far. It's just
playing aggressive.
Yeah.
Well,
I make nothing of it.
It's unfortunate that the quote-unquote bragging rights have been lost for a year, but I think that's the easy narrative, and there's a lot more to come from this team. And I think I was sitting here, we might have to coin a new nickname for this game as the Holy War, because there is such insufferable dogma coming from really one side, but both sides. So I think the Holy War is a new nickname for this game.
Holy War?
So.
Isn't that the TCU Baylor football game?
That's the Utah BYU game.
Okay.
So I'm going with Holy War from now on. Any closing thoughts? I'm kind of over this.
No, I mean, you mentioned the stats. They're very even. The game was very even. They scored off the counter, and it is what it is. And like you said, a year of bragging rights for them, at least, because as we all know,
they may not play next year.
If we're going to play them again, that road for the U.S. Open Cup for them comes through UConn, because they can't host a U.S. Open Cup game at Taft Stadium. So get a bigger stadium or get used to playing in UConn.
Anyway, so yeah, that's that. We will drop in some audio post-game from both sides. I think you'll find it illuminating. And we will come back and talk about the Minnesota United recap. So stay with us.
Obviously, something you guys have been wanting to do, and talk about that.
Well, I think we came out extremely weak. I think we're a little bit too impressed on the heels. struggle in possession, gave them too much respect in the beginning of the game. Came down 1-0, in my opinion, well deserved. Then we scored in a fantastic goal with a good combination, good little chip back in the box, and Sebastian at the right place. And then I think we came out in second half and played very, very well. Much calmer on the ball, created some very, very good chances, had the good possession, not as many turnovers. It looked like we enjoyed it a little bit more in second half. We spoke about in halftime, we got to play with a little more belief, and we got to leave everything out there on the field. And the result speaks for itself right now.
How much does this mean for the guys in the locker room right now?
Well, they're obviously very excited. Going to have fun tonight, and then the preparation starts tomorrow morning for Tulsa.
Fan support was amazing tonight.
Yeah, that was incredible good. They were extremely loud and gave us a fantastic support from the first second. I think that's a special night for our fans. It's a special night for our organization, and obviously a special night for the players. So incredible.
Kyle's goal in the game winner, a great cross by Michael Harris. When things starting to space out late in the match. Tell me about Kyle coming on as a sub, and he hasn't had much of a role with you this season, but he's the hero tonight.
Yeah, he came on as a sub against Salt Lake as well and scored. And we thought it was, I thought the game were ready for him when he got subbed in. Gonzalez gassed out a little bit. I think he came in, he'll give you some offensively and defensively as well. And he's a little speedy guy out there, and he did an incredible job.
In the first half, you give up the goal, but you react really quickly. It looked like it was a huge letdown, but then you get the goal from Sebastian.
Yeah, I think up till they scored their goal, we were not good. We were not good at all. It was very, very disappointing in the first 30, 35 minutes. We stressed out. We were not calm on the ball. We gave so many turnovers and put ourselves in bad situation. But, in my opinion, completely opposite in the second half. Much more calm on the ball, much more flow in our possession, and did not give any turnovers in the second half.
Did the goal wake them up, or did the halftime kind of?
No, I think I think that the goal took a little pressure off their shoulders. Now we don't have anything to lose, and that's when it all came out. And thanks God it continued in the second half in the overtime, where I think we created again some very good chances. I know they hit the post on the set piece, but in the run of play, we were the team in charge.
At the end, the last 5 minutes of the match was kind of reminiscent of the whole rivalry. What did you were kind of telling guys stay focused and finish?
Yeah, we spoke about we got to stay calm in those stressful situations, and what I told the guys, what made me most proud tonight were not the result, but how calm and how professional we stayed in those situations.
Yeah, Cody in goal, only allowing the 1-1.
Yeah, he had a very solid night again. Came out for a lot of good crosses, made a couple of good saves. Again, it was a fantastic team performance.
Third look at FC Dallas this season. You feel good about that matchup?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have Tulsa in my head now, and that's an important game for us. We have momentum in the league as well, and that's going to carry on Saturday. We've got to prepare ourselves physically again. We've been in this situation here 10 days ago where we had 120 minutes in Mississippi and went to San Antonio and had a fantastic result. We've got to see if we can repeat that on Saturday.
Thanks.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Alan, it was a hell of a game to go to 120 minutes in such a. It's a rivalry, even though it's the first match that was ever played. Mm-hmm. To have such a physical game, 120 minutes, you come up a little short. How do you feel about the way it played out?
I mean, hats off to OKC Energy for grinding out the result, and I respect that. My humble opinion, the better team lost. I felt we dominated that game. Maybe a little on the extra time, I would say it was fairly even. The 90 minutes, I mean, it was a lopsided game. You guys heard me say this from day one, and it's a little bit of a broken record, and I am upset with it, is you don't finish your chances, you ain't winning games. I mean, when I watch the tape, I can give you an exact amount, but I can say at least 5, 6, 7 clear-cut opportunities. If you don't bury these, teams like this, again, hats off to them. They grinded out the result. There's no takeaway from their accomplishment tonight. But we put ourselves in this position by not burying our opportunities. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. And if that doesn't change,
Well, Forbes' goal is kind of an example of finishing your chances. Larendi doesn't secure the ball in the shot, and Forbes is there to put it away. And so is that kind of the opposite of what you're looking for with your guys, is to put those shots away?
Yeah, you got to put it in the back of the net. That's getting the amount of opportunities. You got to be clinical. I'm not expecting you to score 40-yard bombs or anything like that. That'd be nice, but the opportunities were clean-cut chances. Some 6 yards out, some 8 yards out, some 12 yards out. You got to bury this. You got to bury it, else again you put yourself in these kind of positions that anything can happen. I feel like all our home games. It's the same story. If you don't bury your chances, you're not going to win games, because there's other good teams, and they're going to create. How many chances they create? A couple. At this night, they were clinical. Is that sustainable? Probably not, but for this night, it don't matter. This night, they're clinical and they're limited chances. We had a ton of chances. We don't score, and that's a major issue, and that has to be fixed.
Fernandez still played a good game. He had probably one of the best saves of the night later in the match. But even though it comes up short, what about his play in the net for you? He's been a very strong part of what you've got.
Yeah, we've been solid. Guys have been solid. Again, it comes down to finishing. All our home games. Put even this one aside. How many times we're creating opportunities, not putting the back of the net? We need to bring in some goal scorers.
Do you feel like at a 120-minute game with a team that is average age is a little bit older had any factor?
No, not at all. When it comes extra time, it's who wants it more. And that comes within. There's no more motivation at that point. That's the time there's got to be intrinsic motivation. Says, throw everything out the window now. I want it more than that. That's what it comes down to.
You've got 5 red cards in 2 games, and I guess fortunately they're one's in league play and one's in Open Cup, so that maybe helps a little bit. But what does that say about the way the team is focused mentally into these matches?
There's you flirt with a fine line for players who are passionate, right? And I want players who are passionate. And like I said, you flirt with that line. You go a little bit over, a little bit less, but you want guys who are going to fight for that uniform, fight for that jersey, leave it all out there. And if you look at Derek and Michelle, they left it all out there. And were their tackles potentially a little bit late? I know there were 2 yellows, but you could see that, they gave everything that they have. And how do you fault that? Because it could be the other way around where guys aren't getting enough. Okay, yeah, you're not getting cards. I'm not condoning or accepting that we get cards. I don't want cards, but I can't, fault somebody that, he left it all on the field for that jersey. And how can you not respect that?
Yeah.
Right.
This is kind of what we talked about before this match. You go to New York, and you only have a couple of days to prepare for a big match, a big Open Cup match. Now you only have a couple of days to prepare for another big league match with Minnesota. Yeah, this one is going to be maybe our biggest challenge yet, because we have a lot of guys missing. We have a small roster, a lot of guys missing. With that being said, we have to step up and get a result. I said from day one, and when I first met all the guys, we're a team that will never make excuses. I don't care what anybody throws at us. You step on the field and you leave it all out there. And if that's the case, and we get a win, hey, that's what we're going after. If we don't, and we pour it all out there, that's what you ask for the guys.
Just a quick question. In the first overtime period, Kimura made a run in the box and got knocked down. Is that a penalty for you?
I have to watch it on tape. At the time you think so, but as coaches everywhere in the world, we're always going to argue anything in our favor, right? And then after we watch it, we make maybe a little bit potentially different decision, or potentially we says definitely. I still come back to Cosmos and Michelle. I don't know. I watched that about 100 times now, and I still don't see what everybody or what the ref saw.
Yeah,
And refs are human. They make mistakes. I hope he acknowledges that, because that wasn't a clear mistake in my mind. But they're humans. People make mistakes.
All right, we're back. Episode 18. We're moved on to the second match. Well, we were getting ready to move on to the second match, but I did miss one important thing from the U.S. Open Cup match, which is an injury update, which is we normally talk about. We didn't see Sebastian. Obviously, we didn't expect to see him. Pekka was also out, so he was out injured. That was something to be worried about, except for the fact that he started Saturday night, last night, and that was it. So
Minnesota, last home game of the spring season. Minnesota came in. The news dropped during the game that the Cosmos lost, and Minnesota was playing for the right to potentially win the spring season. They could win against Rayo and win next week. Fortunately, that didn't happen. So I think if you're looking at topically, like he would have said, and we talked about this, like it would not have been surprising to see Rayo lose 2-down or 3-0, like 2-0, 3-0. But I was thinking about it in more detail. Like despite the missing pieces, and we were missing like the 4 big name players, which is comical. It wasn't really a terrible lineup. You know, I feel like some of the replacement players that we'd seen play in passing, like, were not major drop-offs. We can talk about that in a second. But what we saw is the team lined up again in the 4-4-2, second time in as many games. Minnesota played a 4-2-3-1. And if you look at the stats, it's easy to see that Minnesota really enjoyed most of the possession and had a lot of attacking play. But I don't think that means that Rayo was just sitting back and trying to defend at all costs. Like, they got forward as well. But Minnesota did a great job of building up possession, getting crosses in. Early on, we were just resorting to long ball tactics out of the back. Was not very attractive. Still had plenty of chances early, so Finley had a 4-on-2 chance, and he probably could have passed it off to lead to a better opportunity, but he shot it. That was in the 8th minute. Still saw the wingbacks getting up the field. I saw Minnesota with a lot of one-touch passes, lots of diagonal runs, and really good spacing. What I liked seeing was that they had their target men up top with their backs to goal, and so they would receive the ball and then lay it off to runners coming in to kind of press the attack. A couple other things I really liked watching Ian Svantessen play again. So he played the full match, I believe, and he's just he's obviously a big guy. And he's pretty talented, with his head. So he's a target man on long balls. He's a great target. Really nice wrinkle tactically. But he had some pretty good skill. So he made a couple of great turns on the ball, and I was impressed. I think with more minutes, he could be a really, really valuable member of the roster.
I think when he really gets used to playing with his back to the goal, like you always say with the center, right, or power forward playing with your back to the basket, it's completely different from what he's used to, I think, as a college player. And he's been probably playing that role since the beginning now, since he did come into camp listed as a forward. But, gameplay is always different. So as his touch gets softer and he's able to control and distribute the ball from up top or at times turn on guys and then make something happen or put something into the box with his head. Yeah. Very happy to see where that goes.
A couple other things for me. I was really impressed with Yuma's play. So he's an older guy, definitely has a lot of miles on his legs, but for me, really stepped in and was a like-for-like replacement to Derek Boateng, and really I didn't see a major drop-off in talent.
With less yellow cards.
Less yellow cards. But I was very impressed with Yuma's play. Look, I mentioned this earlier, the team really worked hard and finally played cohesively, and you feel like, we even said this before, it was 1-0, said it feels like there's a breakthrough now with this team as far as like their mentality. They definitely escaped a couple of good chances from Minnesota, especially that one towards the end where the two players fell over each other. But at the end of the day, we saw it on Wednesday. The best team on paper doesn't always win. The most cohesive team wins, and we can't complain about it on Wednesday and then turn around and say, well, we just it's the same thing. It's just different results both times. So 4,018 on the attendance, which is a great number.
I'm really happy with that number. If we hover around 4,000 to 4,500 for the fall season,
Yeah.
I'd be really happy with that number.
I think the closing narrative is the question of what did Marcino learn, right? So like, how does he's got a pretty hard question to answer this week, and that is how does he reintegrate the quote unquote big player stars into the lineup? And if you gave me last night's work rate and just kind of team-based cohesiveness, and you integrated it in like Forbes, Michelle, Samaras, Boateng, this team could go on a run. Now, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, there's one game left before the break, so there's more of an opportunity now to like get more cohesiveness and use the break to continue to gel. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself when I say that last night was a breakthrough. But watching the game, you could definitely feel or see something different than the way the team played, and I'm really excited to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. Can we talk about the goal for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
Since it's such a big goal, both for Tyler personally and for the team. I'm trying to pull up the video right now because did it come off a set piece?
It did not.
I thought so. Yuma played it into Richie on the left. Yeah, the video doesn't show it, but Richie's got the ball on the left, and he plays this great cross.
That's a brilliant strike.
Rainbow cross over to Tyler, and then doesn't even let it bounce. Inside of the foot, just places it.
Brilliant strike. Yeah.
Good goal.
That's how I wish I could finish an indoor. That's brilliant. Let me ask you a question, Porter. I saw some criticism that Rayo just parked the bus last night. How do you respond to that?
I don't think that's true at all. I mean, they obviously had their chances, and when they had their chances, when they were on a break, it was an odd man break in Rayo's favor. They were sending guys forward on offense.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's your classic, like, I heard Mourinho say it, so I'm going to start saying it now. Like, let's not confuse a team that plays good, cohesive defense with parking the bus. Like, defending hard and parking the bus are not the same thing.
Yeah, and even when the numbers show that you could say that the team has parked the bus, like these road games where they get dominated in possession or whatever, that's different. It's different to pull all 11 guys behind the ball. That's parking the bus.
Right.
It's different than letting the other team play with the ball and then intercepting and countering.
Yeah.
The philosophy is different. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look,
whoever was saying that needs to find a new analogy.
I totally agree. So, listen, the sports narrative totally changes now, coming off of a win. And I don't want to keep hyping this point up, but I'm really interested to see where the team goes from here. So we've got one game left. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and preview that. It's the Ottawa Fury match.
But we've got post-game audio from
post-game audio first.
Koske, and Coach Marcina.
Yeah, so stay with us. We'll drop some audio in. We'll come back and preview the Fury. Stay with us.
Tyler, first goal ever in NASL for you. How do you feel? Here's your softball question.
Feel great. I mean, it was a tough game. Minnesota is always a good team. It wasn't our prettiest game, but we grinded it out. We did what we had to do, made some chances, and then I was lucky enough to be able to score the one chance. So I feel pretty good about it. So not being able to play too much this season yet so far. So coming off and getting my first start this season and getting to my first professional goal feels pretty good.
Yeah, one goal and one start's pretty good numbers, so we'll see how Coach takes that into account, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I hear through the grapevine that because you scored a goal now, somebody owes you dinner. So have you put any thought in the last 30 minutes or so to where you might want to be going for your goal-scoring dinner?
I know where he wants to go.
I've got a few good options that are
I'll take some
high
suggestions.
Dollar, so
that place up in the tall building.
Vast, it's great. The Ranch, if you like a good steak, the Ranch Steakhouse.
That'd be good.
And the Raw is okay. I guess.
Yeah.
We're gonna do in the Raw.
I mean, I'm his roommate, so I have to come too. So.
Do you guys feel like your mentality going into the game was different or the same relative to previous games?
I mean, it's been the same. I think we have a good team and we have great players. If you look at paper, we have one of the best team. we always confident. It's just like previously, last game, Open Cup game, we worked hard, but the goal didn't come. We create chances at home, but somehow, it happens. But it just come into this game. I mean, we have 3 red cards and both had a 5 accumulation and all that. But then we knew because like Tyler, Yuma, all those guys, they all work hard, good players, and then we just had same confidence level, coach the same, everybody same, and that's it. We just did our part and we got the result.
All right, awesome. You got anything else?
No.
I
got one for Coach K.
Go ahead.
So the first half, they were pressing, they bringing it down your side a lot, and you shut them down like almost every single time. Was there any different scouting that you saw, or were you just playing it smartly?
I played against them, a couple times last season, so I knew what they're capable of, and I have to know that when balls coming and just look up, just keep looking at the ball, not just the body movement, nothing, just keep focusing on the ball, and the last second, just stop the cross or and I had a Tyler as well, he works hard defensively. It's easy for me. So was Yuma, shift over, helped me so much. So it was not just me and Tyler, Yuma, and those guys. It made me, made my job so much easier. Then I can read the game a little better. And Bo was going, Lang all the time, and I knew he wants to cross all the time. So I just have to time my block, and it worked out great. And second half, he got taken out, and the other guy was good too. But still, I had Tyler and Yuma and all that. It was easy for me today.
Yeah, I think we can tell from where we sit that the gelling that Coach Marcina is always talking about, that he said would take some time, is happening week to week. This is the best that we think we've seen you guys play as a team in terms of communication and passing so far this season. So would you agree that you guys are kind of maybe hitting your stride in terms of communication and playing as a team and finally getting to where you can play together 100%?
Yeah, it's we get more and more used to each other. Being a new team, it takes time, and playing with each other every day and just being around each other more, we come together more and more. So I think, we're definitely just a stronger bond. Every week we get closer and closer. So I think it's definitely helped, and it's definitely coming together more and more. So, we're excited for the next game. So, sometimes it's not going to be a pretty game, but that's soccer, so you have to find ways to win, no matter if you have all the possession, no possession, one shot on goal. You take your chance, you get out of there with the win, and go on to the next game. It doesn't matter how much possession you have. It's all that matters is how many times you put in the back of the net compared to the other team. So I think it's just finding and grinding out games, really. We'll try to play the prettiest soccer possible, but if it's not on for the day for whatever reason, then we'll find ways to grind out wins.
A goal, a dinner, first win in home team history. So awesome! Congratulations, guys!
Thank you so
much
for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, congratulations first of all.
Appreciate that.
We're gonna wear this from now on.
You have to. There's that.
He's wearing
mandatory.
glasses
I'll remember. Take a
contacts.
picture to make sure.
Yeah.
Right.
What some would call the thinnest lineup that we'll see all year, hopefully. What were your thoughts on how they performed tonight?
Yeah, I'm proud. There was quite a few guys in that roster that hadn't played much minutes, and there was a few guys there that were playing maybe 50, 60% too. So hats off for the guys for grinding a result, because Minnesota's one of the best teams in the league. From top down, they're very, very good. And again, the guys who had limited minutes stepped up, and those that were hurting, they also put in, a great shift. So I'm very, very proud of the guys, and this goes out to our fans. Our fans have been waiting patiently and have been great support, and these 3 points are for them.
So kind of following up on that, what kind of stock do you put into this lineup's performance versus lineups we've seen so far this season? Basically, Are you the kind of coach that rolls with a hot hand, or as players become available to you, you might insert them back in the lineup?
I mean, right now the guys need to recover, and we see what healthy bodies we got come next week. And like I said, these guys went out and grinded out a result, and they make our decisions tough as coaches, and that's what they're supposed to do. And we'll see who's healthy and who's not, and progress from there.
What was your mentality that you were hoping to project onto the team coming into the game today?
Yeah, I mean, for the guys who had limited minutes, they had to go out and be confident. To be fair, yesterday's training session was excellent, and the guys were really, really motivated. A lot of guys were hungry, and like I said, they, stuck to the game plan. Played with confidence. To be fair, I thought we had the better chances as well. We had some big chances that unfortunately we didn't put away. I'm a little bit, at times, a little frustrated that same statement keeps coming up. So hopefully we can correct that come break time, that we are putting away more chances, make it a little bit easier for ourselves. But all in all, I'm proud of the guys' performance.
One more game, obviously, in the spring season, but we won't talk to you before then. So do you guys have any plans? Do you know what you're going to plan for the interseason break, training-wise, anything like that? Anything you can talk about?
I mean, all teams will take some time off. Guys will get 5-6 days off. The bodies definitely need it. I don't think we've had since day one a complete healthy roster. And we've already worked on ways to hopefully correct that and improve on that area. And I can maybe share a little bit. Expect a few new faces, to add to our roster in a few areas that we feel need strengthening. And then other than that is, again, getting guys healthy. We believe strongly if we have a full roster available and a few additions that we can do real well in this league.
Yeah,
perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Episode 18, we are now legal episode. So we prepared a very thorough, in-depth, analytical recap of the Ottawa Fury match. Porter, take it away.
So Rayo finishes their inaugural spring season on the road against the Ottawa Fury FC. Saturday, June 10th, 7 o'clock kickoff.
I believe it's 6 Central.
6 Central. It's the 11th? It is the 11th.
That's all I got. No, but
and Ottawa beat Vancouver this week.
Yeah, so in keeping with we haven't seen teams play before, so we don't really know what to see. Don't know a lot about Ottawa. I think the word on them is they've started their season slowly and are now kind of picking up steam. They just beat a decent MLS team in the Vancouver Whitecaps in the Canadian version of the Open Cup called the Voyager Cup, and it sounds like they're on a roll as well. So they've got a player named Johnny Steele to watch out for, and in truth, that's really all we know about them.
And I only put his name on there because he had a pretty awesome goal in the Voyagers Cup game. So
fair enough.
I don't know that he's really one to watch for. I think
he's got a cool name,
journeyman player.
He's got a cool name,
but he had a great goal. So good on you, Johnny Steele.
Okay, well. That is our
great recap.
Great recap as always. And we will come back with another rousing.
Forgot they're the hated rivals.
I hate those guys.
Ottawa. Can't stand you.
Can't stand Ottawa, yeah. Okay, so we will take a quick break, come back with Free Talk. We'll be right back.
Before we get to Free Talk, just wanted to say one more time, huge thanks to McNelly's for having us out. I mentioned a lot of their specials and beer dinner and hop class coming up, so get down here and check those out. They got a lot of cool stuff going on, and come join us because we started 6 strong. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of us here. So
it's a large number. Hopefully the audio is good.
I think we're going to need a bigger table.
I hope the audio is not ruined.
Yeah, thanks guys for ruining our audio. Now that I cursed them all for ruining our audio, I think we're going to include them as part of this Free Talk segment.
Yeah, so I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there is a women's team called Oklahoma City FC that is under the RayoOKC umbrella. It's in the WPSL, the Women's Premier Soccer League, and is as you might have guessed, professional team for women that is based here. So they're actually a pretty good squad.
What's the top tier women's National Women's Soccer League, and the WPSL is below that, right? Okay,
yeah, right. So it's very similar to the NPSL league. If you're familiar with that for men, or the PDL. So it's high school players, it's college players looking for more minutes. They're not paid, but it's nonetheless a great opportunity for them to get more minutes and exposure. And actually, I believe in their first season or the second season, they made the Final Four, which they hosted. They're a team to beat as well, for sure.
So they've played 3 games so far this season, 1 draw, 2 victories. They play their home games at Lakeview Soccer Complex, which is where their Rayo team trains.
Yep.
And just today they had a game and they won 8-0.
Is that good? Did they break it?
Yeah, I mean the old touchdown extra point shutout.
They went
so
for 2, yeah.
No problem. Oh yeah, 1 for 2.
Yeah, Megan Black had a hat trick. She's one of the focal points of the team going forward, and we're going to try to get her an interview on the podcast moving forward. So,
what else do we want to say about Oklahoma City FC?
There's the goalkeeper is on the U.S. national team under 18. Is in the U18 pool. That's pretty awesome. She's 6'3". That's pretty tall.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So if you live in Oklahoma City, come out to an Oklahoma City FC game.
Yeah, so with RayoOKC's spring season winding down, and if you're really all up for this summer of soccer with the Euros and the Copa Centenario, but you want some domestic soccer, this is where you get it. It's the WPSL, Oklahoma City FC. The games are very accessible, very inexpensive.
It's $5.
$5.
And children 12 and under get in free, right?
And if you going way back in the time machine, remember when RayoOKC was founded, they were originally called Oklahoma City FC. And so the WPSL team has the same branding as the originally conceived NASL team.
Which you would know if you read our great
listen to our
history
podcast.
piece.
And so the plug there is you can buy some merch that is pretty unique and very cool.
Original.
Very original.
It's the OG professional soccer merch for Oklahoma City.
So just in closing, the next match, next Saturday. Tulsa Spirit. Hated rival Tulsa Spirit. And they're playing in Tulsa. So we will be caravanning to Oral Roberts to beat down the hated cult leaders.
If I stepped on the campus at Oral Roberts, I'd probably vanish into a ball of fire.
You would probably violate your restraining order. Okay,
I'd probably violate my restraining order by going to an Oklahoma City FC game.
We're really into
June 25th, the next home game.
We're into transparency here.
So come out because is that a week to the day before the first home game for RayoOKC back to the start of the fall season? When Edmonton will come back, by the way, to
hated rival.
Dude, I can't wait to talk about missiles. I'm going to launch some screws, nuts, and bolts at those guys whenever they're coming on the field.
Okay, actually, I know.
You want nails? You got them, Nick Ledgerwood.
I was trying to wind this down, but we should talk about this because last night there was a picture that one of the Minnesota United players posted on social media of him pulling up a square of the field, and his whole implication was like, this is like amateur and not safe for players. And what's your reaction to that?
Men fear that which they do not understand.
Right.
So, as we all know, everyone sitting at this table at least knows that there is the company that the turf was purchased from has gone through trials and tribulations with FIFA to get their turf approved and with the seal that it's safe for play. So every team that comes to UConn will get this gigantic packet of information from the team that says, here's what you're going to play on. It's safe. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, it comes up in sections. That's by design. And so all I hope is that the misinformation stops and into the fall season it becomes not a manufactured controversy anymore.
I totally agree. So, okay, well, listen, let's sign off here. We will post intermittent episodes during the break.
We've got some good stuff. Should we tease some of the stuff we've got coming in the break?
Lay it down.
We've got an interview with Joe Cole. No, I'm just kidding.
A real live person with a British accent.
Yes. We actually have two that, I mean, it's kind of a British accent, I guess.
We're going to interview some players from OKCFC.
Yeah? What else are we going to do? We're having an interview with Sean Jones, the managing partner for RayoOKC.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully.
We're going to have a lot more stuff coming out written.
That's true. So we've got a new member.
Our new compatriot, Alan Chapman, has joined us.
Yeah. He's sitting 3 yards away from us. Alan, you want to say hello?
Hello.
There he is, Alan Chapman.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter and get links to his posts.
Yeah,
and,
they'll be on Midfield Press, 2 yellow cards,
Twitter. All right, so the first fall game for RayoOKC is July 2nd, and OKCFC plays at 1 o'clock at Miller Stadium that day. And the Red Army, which is a supporters group, is planning to do a food drive that day on July 2nd between the OKCFC and the Rayo game. So if you want to lend a good hand, follow Rayo's Red Army on Twitter and get information on the food drive. So that's all I got. Let's wind this down. It's a long episode.
All right, I'm done.
Okay, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.